Good afternoon. Hello, I'm Michael Schmidt, hailing from Hurricane, West Virginia. I wish I could say I was stoned from a good joint or drugs, but actually, I'm just high on life. And I just want to talk today to America to just kind of call attention to something today. You know, it's really painful, Mitt. I'm embarrassed for you. My mother and her family were diehard Democrats, and my father and all his family were diehard Republicans. My brother is a Tea Party Republican, and talk about humiliating. First, he had to endure Bush, and now you. Bush put the country in a depression. Yes, they like to call it a recession, but let me tell you what it was. It was a depression. When you had people, 800,000 jobs a day going, people standing in soup lines, there was a line for 4.5 hours long for a janitor's job in Ohio, Mitt. That was depression. Of course, you didn't feel it because you've got, a couple of 100 million laying over in the Caymans, getting a suntan, and we don't know how many millions you've got in your Swiss bank account. And you give the Mormon Church, $1 million a year or more, and I guess you think that's going to buy your salvation. And Paul Ryan, bless your heart, son. I can just see you after every rally, after every conversation. You must have your iPhone out tweeting, "Father, please forgive me, I have sinned. Father, please forgive me, I have sinned." Well, I hate to tell you a little sad news, but if we do make it to heaven, and I do believe we'll make it. I was raised a Nazarene, but now I'm a Lutheran, and I believe it. And yeah, I'm a gay guy, and I am very much believe in God. But I also believe in His scriptures, and I also believe He gave us 2 ears, 2 eyes, a mouth, a nose, and all these senses to learn. And what I've learned about you today, you said to Hispanics, "We cannot leave this big debt for our grandchildren. We have to reduce our spending." Yet, you don't want to release your tax returns because you, with all the money, probably don't pay 13, 12, 10, 11%. I've heard you try to be real suave and say to people, "I've paid everything the law required." Well, with all the loopholes, and with all your money, and with all the things, and you donating $1 million a year to the Mormon Church, and taking that as a tax write-off. Boy, what a tax write-off. And oh my goodness, you married Ron, all those kids, and Ann, and the horse for $500,000, and the 18 houses, and her having to shop for tops that cost $900 that reminded me of the Eye of the Tiger, as they said back in the disco days, a genuine Italian polyester top. Yeah, money can't buy you class, and it cannot buy you a ticket into heaven. Today you said to the Latinos, we've got to open up trade to Latin America. I'm sorry, Mitt. Catch up. You're behind. Again. First you were talking about the USSR, and now you're talking about opening up trade? Well, no, President Obama didn't open up any new trade agreements because we already had a big one. It was called NAFTA. 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 Oh, by the way, Mitt, today I just wanted to tell you, that little Staples, oh, I do love to shop at that little store. I used to have other stores that were family owned that I really liked to shop in better because they knew what kind of pens I liked, and there was never any turnover, and most of the ladies had worked there most of their life. It was their first job. But sadly, Staples came to town, and like Walmart, it put them out of business. And, Staples, sometimes they have AirPens, sometimes they don't, but anyway, it's an interesting little place, and I like to look at the little gadgets. But I love the little ad, and I absolutely knew that your old company, Staples, they had something just for you, It was a set of addition cards, flashcards, so Anne could flash you to help prepare you for your debates so that you could learn that 2 plus 2 equals 4. Not 700 million taken or away from something equals a dollar. I want to talk to you. Why don't you talk to the Latino community about the little favor that you did for the Koch brothers while you were the governor in Massachusetts, changing the inheritance laws, about all those extra billions. Let's see, what was it? 18 billion a piece they got because you're the loophole you got for them. And there's that little lad, Paul Ryan. Oh, a lad, a good Catholic boy. Except he worships Ayn Rand, who was a Russian atheist, and I actually read her book a little bit. Man, she was really all about herself. She didn't care if she stomped on the waitress who waited on her. There was somebody else like that in our society. On Lifetime for the ladies, every now and then they show this movie, and you should watch it, Mick, because it's really a lot like it. And it's called Leona Helmsley. And remember her famous quote, "Oh, little people pay the taxes. Those little people." Well, I've paid a lot of taxes. Yes, I have. Me and my partner, we paid single at the higher rate. And Mitt, while you were out there donating money to help fight marriage equality in California, along with your Mormon-hating church, I have many friends who are Mormons, by the way, Mitt, and I love them. And I believe that there are good Mormons. I don't agree that your particular flavor of faith is Christianity. After all this, being sealed and committing polygamy sex and making souls to populate new worlds and, getting baptized to save the dead like Jewish little girls like Anne Frank. It is a little bit bizarre. But this is America, and this is all about our democracy. You can believe what you want to. But I will tell you one thing. If you said good morning on Good Morning America, I would have to run out of my street and look in the sky, because I tell you, here in West Virginia, we have a little term. It's called windy. And that's a nice way of saying, instead of calling somebody a liar, we say, "Woo, boy, they're windy." Windy as a freight train. Let me tell you, you got a fleet of freight trains. You and Paul Ryan. And Paul, what is this strength? We have got to be from a position of strength. Our military is bigger than it was in World War II, but our troops, under your all's control, the enlisted families qualify for food stamps. So where's all the money go? Where's the money going? You know where it goes? It goes to defense contractors. Dick Cheney, boy, he paid off Halliburton sweet. When I was growing up, we were taught that, and my father, a Republican, by the way, taught us this. He said, you may not always like the person who's in office, but you respect our president. You don't say bad things about the president. You and your little Tea Party band, you all have broken every rule of etiquette, of civility, of niceness. And, your party used to like to call liberals, first of all, I don't think we're liberal. I just think that we think beyond our own pocket. We worry about our children. We worry about our grandparents. Unlike you, who seem so proud to give your money to the church and then that buys you absolution, I've taken care of 2 ladies till they died and had no family. And do you know how much I got? Not a single cent. And do you know how much I expected? Not a single cent. Now I want to tell you something. You 2 are a mess. And John Boehner, if you think you're fooling anybody, Mr. Pass out the checks from the tobacco lobby, well, you're another mess. And Eric Cantor, you think that you've got everybody fooled, buddy, you are something else. My cousin lives in Falls Church, Virginia. and she says that everybody thinks you are an absolute wacko. And I'm agreeing with them. You're haters. And, I just can't, I just don't understand why you all can't see what you are. You blame your idea of hate is if I disagree with your opinion, we just can't sit and talk about it because you're going to shout your way. You're going to shove your way. You're going to be like Fox News where you can tell them what you're going to talk on the news. Well, let me tell you something. I'm doing this for free. And you know what, Mitt? You don't fool me one bit. I've worked in healthcare for 28 years, and Bubby, I've met a whole lot of people in my lifetime, and I'll tell you, I've seen your kind come and go like the pages in a calendar. Now, you need to go home. You know what Jesus said? You come to me in secret, and I'll reward you openly. You go talk to him about it. Jesus will make it right. I'm telling you, it's like that song from The Color Purple. Maybe God's trying to tell you something. People, you're down in the polls. Women are upset at you. You've made all the minorities mad at you. You're on videotape saying that you're going to be more pro-gay than Ted Kennedy, but now you hate us. Are you just stupid? I mean, you got the best education to know that you wrote an article to say let GM go bankrupt. When the fact was, if the government hadn't bailed them out, there wasn't any bank loans. The person who helped GM through that period was a Republican. And I love to watch him on Bill Maher. You should watch Bill Maher. Make you good and mad, but you should, because you should get out of the bubble before you suffocate. Because that's what happens. If you stick your head in a plastic bag, because that's what the Viet Cong did in Vietnam. Oh, that's right. Your daddy got you exempted, and while you were holding up a sign saying, oh, I'm for the war, I'm for the war, I'm for the war, ooh, but I'm going to damn poverty, I'm going to have me some cream puffs, and I'm going to convert me some Frenchies, and I'm going to make him, oh, yes, I'm going to make him mornings, and I'm going to ride my little bicycle, and, oh, I'm going to be somebody. Let me tell you something. The only thing you are is a legend in your own mind. Now, I want to tell you something. I want you to think about this hard, you and Paul both, because when I see that RR on cars here in West Virginia, I just saw a guy at the Lowe's in Crosslands, West Virginia, and he struck up a conversation with me, and I said, so why do you have that RR in your car? And he said, oh, well, Obama's got this war on coal. And I said, well, it's kind of funny because, the only war on coal I know about is that coal companies in West Virginia, they have an old name called coal barons. Like in the old country, coal barons, they ruled, they were their boss, they owned the towns. My family came from that. My family came from Italy. They were coming to the promised land. They got stuck on a boxcar and got dumped in a coal camp. And let me tell you, there were a lot of cracks in that shanty that you had to pay for, in scrip. And when my great-grandfather was killed in that roof fall mine, they really went all out at the company. They threw his body on the front porch. My grandmother had to help her mother bathe his body on the dining room table, and they had a wake, and he was buried in a pine box. Today, the town doesn't exist, and we can't even get back on the mountain to the old town cemetery to put flowers in his grave. That's what coal does. And as far as unions, every company in this country, every worker should want a union. Because I will tell you, I'm in my lovely office. And I'll tell you a little story about this office. I haven't been in here for 2 years because my heart was broken. I worked for a company out of Seattle and called Lumetics, and it was a dream job. They were my client at my hospital and one of my vendors. And for 5 years, I killed myself. In 2006, I blew a disc, and when I blew that disc, buddy, I did it right. I was at Nautilus, and I was trying to get healthy, and those little chips from that disc flew into the nerves, and now my back is covered in scars, and I have 2 lovely implants that try to help manage the pain. And Get off the cross, girl. Somebody else needs it.